Welcome back. My name is Ray, back with another video. Sonic Heroes is the greatest Sonic game ever created, and I'm back with a tier list. So yeah, I just wanna change it up a little bit, just due to the fact that I've been uploading a lot of Unleashed when I can. That is, well, it may not be a lot to you all because the uploads I'm doing them really slowly, but for me, on the other hand, I just been trying to get the videos out the best way I can. I actually have been recording on my time that I've been able to do so. I just haven't been able to have the time to upload them yet because other responsibilities have to be taken care of. But yeah, I just want to switch it up for a bit, just make this like a semi-short video, I should say, or something like that, to switch it up. Now, as you see here, this is just like a tier list site. Everyone probably knows what this is, or seen like other people do this already, but I'm just gonna do mine because why not, right? I might as well just add to the fold if that makes sense. That being said, though, yeah, I'm just gonna give my short little thoughts and where I like place, like all the mainline 3D Sonic games, that is. Now, I know you see the 2D ones in here, and I kind of picked the wrong tier list by mistake, because I'm just doing this on the cuff, but I'm just gonna be ranking the 3D games right now because I kind of like separate 3D and 2D Sonic, but that's just me. I know a lot of people just probably rank everything all together, like spin-offs, 2D Sonic, 3D Sonic, classic Sonic, modern. I just kind of divide everything. That's just kind of how I do it. But for this video in particular, I'm gonna separate. Well, I'm not gonna be doing the 2D games at all. I'm just gonna be talking about where's my stance on 3D Sonic. When it comes to like where I would place them, if that makes sense to you. But yeah, so you got S, A, B, C, D, E tier, never played. Now there are like one game in this. Actually, let me turn this down because it's actually quite loud right fast. Oh crap, the music from my stereo, man. But anyway, yeah. That being said, though, yeah. Never played. There are some, at least 1 or 2 Sonic games in this list here that I have not touched myself. Maybe 3. But again, I'm gonna talk about that when I get around to it. So yeah, as you know already, what's gonna go in S, because I don't want to I'm not gonna go too in depth about every game on this list right here. That's again for separate videos. I'm just gonna give my short, quick thoughts, like really, really quick thoughts. I know I do that in separate vids, but I mean like really, really quick thoughts, because this is not an in-depth video about none of these games. It's just me placing them in the tier list where I think they should go based on how much I like them or not, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, as you already know though, Sonic Heroes goes in S tier for me because obviously this is the greatest 3D Sonic game, the greatest Sonic game ever created, but this is the greatest 3D Sonic game ever created. I don't think that Sega will never, or Sonic Team will never surpass this game, never, no matter how many new Sonic games that comes out in the future or whatever, they will never surpass the greatness that is Sonic. I don't even know, I can't even say it, but they can't surpass the greatness that this game is, the extraordinary greatness that this Sonic game is. Like, this is my heart, this is my soul. Like, when I think of Sonic, this is what made me fall in love. This game right here, in every way possible that you can even imagine. And again, I may do a separate video on why I love Sonic Heroes. I know there's another Sonic YouTuber that exists that loves this game as well. But I think my love for this game is the passion, man, for the whole series, and this game means the most to me. Like, I literally cried over this game, and I'm gonna get into it maybe in the future or something if that ever happens. But this is the greatest Sonic game ever created, and I mean that like with my soul, heart, and passion, and my belief. And not just an opinion, but that's just my personal belief that this is the greatest Sonic game that Sega and Sonic Team have ever created. And that will never change. No matter what new Sonic game comes out, they will never surpass this game. Never. They haven't surpassed it after this game came out. They never surpassed it before. The only thing that did was the original GOAT, and that was Adventure 1. But until this game came along and, you know, obliterated Adventure 1, in my opinion, you know, in terms of how great and just how, you know, I can't even think of the word right now, just how, you know, I can't even think of the damn word. I'm trying to use like extraordinary words. I can't do it right now, you know, but how magnificent this game is, like, you know, but before that, Adventure 1 was the greatest Sonic game ever created, you know, until this game came along. So this gotta go into S tier for me personally, you know. Sonic Heroes, greatest Sonic game ever created. You never forget that. Number 2, what I would put, there's only 2 Sonic games in my opinion that goes in S tier, and it's this game, and again the original GOAT, which is this game right here, Sonic Adventure 1. These 2 games go into S tier in my opinion, just because, again, Adventure 1, the greatest controlling 3D Sonic game ever created, and I don't care what nobody say. This is the greatest controlling 3D Sonic game ever created. The second would be also this game. They go 1 into 1. These are GOATs in real time. You know what I'm saying? These 2 games right here in the series, you know. But Adventure 1, I love this game to death. Like, I played the demos of this and Heroes at the same time in the 5th grade, you know, and you could say, oh, it's just nostalgia, but I mean, like, you know, I like 06, and I played that like when I was 20 for the first time, and I love that game now, you know, so it has nothing to do with nostalgia, my friend, you know, nothing at all. But Adventure 1, the story, I think this is the greatest 3D Sonic story in the series, in my opinion. Out of all the games, Adventure 1 just has the perfect plot, and it just flowed together perfectly, you know what I mean? I don't even have to go into it. Again, this is not an in-depth video about it, so I'm not gonna go too far into it, but these 2 Sonic games right here are, in my opinion, the peak of 3D Sonic, in my opinion. But the first being this one, the second being this other GOAT right here, you know, the OG GOAT, you know, before this became the GOAT, or should I say the greatest Sonic game ever devised. Now every other Sonic game, in my opinion, or every other 3D Sonic game, I should say, in my opinion, is A tier or below, or never played, I should say, you know, because on this list. So yeah, just to clarify, there's no other 3D Sonic games, in my opinion, that I would put in S tier, but that's just me personally, you know. You may feel differently from me, you know, but yeah, for A tier though, I gotta think, what would I put at the very top of A tier, in my opinion? Yeah, I think that would go to this game right here, at the very top of A tier. That would be SA2, you know. Why? Because again, I am personally, again, I'm an Adventure Formula first Sonic fan, you know, when it comes to 3D Sonic, you know. The boost games again are great, don't get me wrong, except for, you know, the obvious one. But this Sonic game right here though, is the also Adventure Formula, and the Adventure Formula is why I fell in love with 3D Sonic, me personally. You may fall in love with 3D Sonic for the boost. You may fall in love with 3D Sonic because of Frontiers, right? The open zone gameplay. I have no idea, you know. You may be new to the series, you may be a younger fan, you may be even an older fan. I am just me, Ray, you know, so I'm just telling you what I like. So with that being said, you know, this game right here personally, like, why I put it under though, these 2, obviously, you know, I love the mech shooting stages in Adventure 2. I won't say I love them, but I like them. But Eggman mech shooting stages are the best in Adventure 2 over Tails. I just want to clarify that, if I haven't already said that before, which I think I have in a past stream that I did of this game, which I think was the PC version. Well, it was the PC version. The mech shooting, the Eggman mech shooting levels are the best mech shooting levels in the game. Obviously I love the Sonic and Shadow stages. Crazy Gadget is the best stage in the game, in my opinion at least, you know. But yeah, Adventure Formula, like, you know, it's gonna be an A and S tier for me personally. All three of these games, you know what I mean? And even '06, right? Which also, in my opinion, goes into the adventure formula as well. You know, goes. I might as well. I might as well. Well, no. I'm gonna get to that in a moment, actually. So, Adventure 2 goes into A tier. You know, the story, which is also very peak, not the best in my opinion. I think Adventure 1 story still is better, but Adventure 2 story is great though. And obviously Heroes, the greatest Sonic game ever created, doesn't have that much of a story, but it did what it needed to do. The levels in the game carried the game, and I don't care what no one say. Like, it's the greatest Sonic game ever devised, you know. So when I get to this game, if I do ever get to this game right here, Sonic Heroes, trust me, you can't see my hand pointing at the screen right now, but trust me, you're gonna see some glazing. I'm gonna glaze this game to death, and I don't care what nobody say about that, you know. 'Cause this is my love, my friends. It's my love, you know. But yeah, Adventure 2, a great adventure era Sonic game. I love the momentum based physics. That's the main reason I love the adventure era games to begin with, is the momentum based physics brought into 3D from the classic games. You know, the tricks, I won't say the trick system because that was introduced like Rush onwards, but like the acrobatics. Like Sonic used to be so acrobatic, and that's been taken away since the boost, you know, and they haven't really brought that back since the adventure era games. And even Rush, to an extent, was acrobatic when it comes to just Sonic's momentum-y physics feel, you know what I mean? Just the acrobating, I can't even say the word, I don't know what I'm trying to say right now. The acrobatness of Sonic has been taken away for a very, very long time now. Something I wish they would bring back, but I'm wishing upon a dead star at this point, you know. But either way, that's for a whole nother video, you know. But the acrobatics of how Sonic used to be so acrobatic and floating, like flippy and all of that, and you know, this is what I loved about the adventure era games, you know, and the momentum, you know, and using that to pull off different things you can do with momentum based on how much you build up your speed, you know, with that, you know. But that being said though, Adventure 2 goes into A tier. I put it at the very top of A tier, you know. So I am placing this for a reason at the top of A tier, because I do think it's at the very top of A tier, you know, for me personally. Second after that, where I would put in A tier, personally, I'm trying to think right now, because I already knew what these was gonna be, but everything else I'm kind of just thinking off of the whim right now, you know. After that, personally, what I would put in A tier, I'm trying to think, man. After Adventure 2, what else would I put in A tier? And personally, I think under that, for me personally, I would have to go with Generations, because I love Generations, you know. To me, and this is a weird one, because like Unleash, I love Unleash, I love Generations, you know. I love Unleash, the Warhog game, you know, and I love Generations, you know. The thing is though, like, I have conflicting opinions at times when it comes to both of these games, because both Unleash and Generations are both A tier in my opinion, and they can sometimes switch places between on like my mood, or depending on the day that I have, you know. But I think in the general sense though, I think that this is where I would probably put them on the A tier list. Generations first, and then Unleash, in my opinion. Now with Generations, again, like, how can I put this? How can I make this very short? Again, I'm not trying to do it in depth, and I tend to ramble on a lot, and I'm trying to keep this video very short. Unleash is the full package when it comes to like quality, long boost stages, difficulty. It has the whole package, right, in my opinion, you know, with the Warhog to boot, right? You know, it has the full package. But the thing is, I don't know what it is. It's just something about Generations that I think I like a little bit more. And I don't know if that's just like like the playground feel of Generations that it has. I don't know, but I just like, I think I like Generations just a bit more than Unleash, even though Unleash has the better quality, the full package in terms of everything: story, gameplay, quality, difficulty. Like Generation boost levels are really way shorter than Unleash, right? But I think that it's just something about gens that I just like a little bit more, and I can't, and I've been trying to figure out this for the last couple of years, and I can't really think why I like Generations a little bit more. Just something about it, like I like more than Unleash, but they're both neck and neck almost in terms of where I like them. That's the strange part about it. So it's kind of like conflicting with me in certain ways, if that makes sense, So that's the only thing that I kind of like get confused on at the most part. But I think I slightly place Generations above Unleash. For me personally, if that makes sense. So yeah, I'm just gonna leave that for that right now because I already rambled enough, But I love Generations. The only weakest parts about Gens is Classic Sonic, right? Classic Sonic, and but even though Classic Sonic is the weakest part of Gens, he does still have some great levels in Generations though, like Chemical Plant Classic, Sky Sanctuary Classic. Now if you ask me what's the best Classic Sonic level in the game, it may be Sky Sanctuary Classic Sonic, or maybe another one I'm not thinking of right now. I really like the Crisis City Classic Sonic too though, but again, I'm going all into that right now. I'm gonna leave that. So yeah, this is what I think I place top 3 of my A tier right now for me personally. Under that, I would say Unleash, the best, hardest boost Sonic game, the game that I'm going through right now, which I'm hopefully I can get the more videos up soon when I can of this game. Has the difficulty, has everything, the Werehog gameplay, the full package. I already said it repeated times now. What else under A tier would I put in terms of a 3D Sonic game or aesthetics, in my opinion? Trying to think, is there any other one? And I think it's not, to be honest. I think everything else now under this list is either B or below. Now, let me clarify. I really like 06, okay? The only thing that is keeping me from placing this game in A and possibly even S is the quality that Sega Sonic Team released this game under. And that's a shame because, again, I like 06. It has the adventure era feel to it that I love, and I didn't play this game when it came out at all. I played this when I was 20 years old, okay, back in 2020. You might can guess how old I am just by saying that, okay? My point being, I played this in my adult years, okay, if that makes sense, I have no nostalgia for Sonic 06 whatsoever, but I like this game because of the style, the mature style that they gave all the characters in this game. Just the stylish way of how all the Sonic characters look in 06, I like. The adventure era type of level design, again, I like. The only thing that hindered this game, in my opinion, from me putting it in A tier or even S tier is the way the quality of this game in which it came out, which hindered it, in my opinion, in areas that I talked about at the end of my playthrough of this game, I think, So I'm not gonna go into it right now because I just don't have the brain capacity at the moment to do that. But that's what hindered this game. If it wasn't for that, if this game came out fully quality all the way, I think I would place it above Adventure 2 even. I think it would probably be right here, if it wasn't for the issues of quality that this game has. Everything else, the foundation of 06, I like the level design, the levels themselves, the style of this game, the realistic direction of this game, and I know Frontiers is also realistic as well, but again, it comes nowhere close to this game, in my opinion, But I played both of these games in the same year, just to clarify too. I played Frontiers and 06 again in the same year. I think I played 06 for maybe a third or second playthrough, I think, by 2022 when that came around. And yeah, I like 06 way more, you know, just due to I just like the level design of this game, the music, the style of Sonic in this game, the long quills. Not the long, but the taller, mature looking Sonic, I should say. I just love everything about this game, because it still signifies 2000 Sonic, which I do have nostalgia for, and there's nothing wrong if you like the 2010 stuff, Roger Sonic, all of that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. It's not what I'm saying. But me personally, yes, I do have a bias towards 2000 Sonic more. Obviously, you know, you look at my list already, you know, well, except for like Generations, of course. But you know, but the thing is though, like 06 just, it has that feel to it that I love, like Adventure 1 and Heroes, and Adventure 2 even. It has that adventure era feel to it, and I think that's the main reason I love it. Along with the style of 06, the style of all the characters, even the cutscenes, like I could just look at, just not just because of the cutscenes themselves, but just like the style of which all the characters move. Like I know you may look back in some of those older 2000s like cutscenes or model animations from that era, like the mid 2000s, you know. But I just love the way the animations of the characters move in 06. I don't know what it is. Maybe it just may be me. But if it wasn't for the quality issues that this game released in, it would either be an A tier for me or S tier. But since it did come out in the way it did, I would put it at the very top of B tier, in my opinion, you know. But that's just kind of how I feel, and I may even place it in lower A tier the more I play this game, because the more I play it, the more I like it more and more and more. So if that makes sense, you know. So, you know, I am leaning personally though towards hold on right fast, be right back. Alright, sorry about that, I had to handle something right fast there. With that being said though, yeah, I may play, like, I'm conflicted. I'm either gonna place 06 in the bottom of A tier or B, or the high points of B tier. I'm leaning towards the bottom of A tier though, just due to the quality issues. But I do like 06 more than Unleash. So that's the thing. So if I was just making a top 10 ranking, I would put 06 before Unleash. But since this is like a tier list type of thing, yeah, I may do this. Yeah, I know for you Unleash lovers, again, I really like Unleash as well. Trust me, you know I do. Okay, but yeah, 06, it just has that feel to it that I love about Adventure era Sonic, you know, when it comes to everything, you know. So that's why, you know, I'm gonna leave it at that, you know. So yeah, I think that is my A tier list though. Everything else though is B and below though, sadly. And again, if you love I'm not trying to, again, like, if you love these games and you place them higher and that's your opinion, that's all cool. This is just my thoughts and my opinions as well, you know what I mean? So just, you know, I don't want any smoke with nobody that loves some of these games down here that I may place lower. Okay, if you love them, have fun, man. Like, you know, it's Sonic. This is for the love of Sonic, man. You know, but this is my love in this category right here. Just understand that, you know. So, but anyway, B and below. On what would I put at the top of B tier? And personally, what I would put at the top of B tier at this point, before Shadow Gens, I would say Frontiers. But since Shadow Gens is a thing, I like Shadow Gens more than Frontiers. You know, when it comes to just you know, a modern 3D Sonic type of game, though Shadow, right? But yeah, Shadow Gens, you know, I like the game. Again, still has the problems, somewhat issues with modern Boost Sonic, but again, that's for a whole nother video. But the mechanics of Shadow Gens brought it way up, way up, that you can use Shadow's powers, you know, as mechanics in the game around the level design. You get what I'm saying? And that's the main thing why I love platformers, when you can abuse said mechanics with level design. I think that's why everyone loves platformers, right? So And Shadow Gens does that perfectly, something that I do think Frontiers was lacking a whole lot in my opinion. But again, this is not an in-depth video on no game of this list, you know, except for Sonic Heroes. But that being said though, yes, I'm put Shadow Gens at the top of B, you know, just the step up in quality from Frontiers and Forces combined. Even I must say, it's crazy, you know. Hopefully the next main game, like, they knock it out of the park all the way, even though again they will never top, you know, S tier for me personally. But you know, and I know that for a fact, you know what I mean. You can get, I want to say you can get mad, because I don't want anyone to be mad at little old Reiki, right? You know, but I just know they will never surpass S tier, you know what I mean? You know, in my opinion, my S tier, what you see at the top. So, I'm sure the next main game will be great, you know, let's hope, right, you know. With that being said though, yes, B tier Shadow Gens I'll put at the top of B tier. The next under that I will put Frontiers, obviously, you know. Frontiers, you know, open zone Sonic has its issues. Again, I'm not gonna get into this right now with the game, but I still really do like Frontiers, and I just feel like booting up a Sonic game to run in the open zone. And yes, I will play this over some of the well-crafted fan games that is like more open, you know. And salute to all the fans, you know, this is not a diss or nothing like that. Like, Sonic fans are talented, you know. I don't think I'll never be able to create a 3D Sonic fan game like that, but some of them just feel too floaty in my opinion, and that's just like a personal critique that I have about them. But you know, but to all the work that's, you know, they do for like the 3D Sonic fan games, you know, I gotta commend them, you know. Like I said, like, it's great stuff, you know, but I just don't kind of like how they kind of make them too momentum-y. But that's just my opinion. Other people may grasp to it, or other people may like them that, you know, play 3D Sonic fan games, you know. But some of them just feels like really too floaty in my opinion. So that's why I wouldn't put them personally over Frontiers, you know, in my opinion. But Frontiers, if I want to just boot up an open zone Sonic game, this is what I do, you know. For right now, to, you know, wherever the next main game is, and if they surpass this game, then, you know, that's all great. And even if they do surpass Frontiers, you know, I don't hate Frontiers, so I would, you know, I would just play both or something like that, you know what I mean? I don't hate Frontiers. Like, it's, you know, again, it doesn't have the best replayability, which also hurts it in my opinion, apart from all the other Sonic games in the series, if that makes sense, you know. But just, if you just want to run around in the open zone and you like doing that, and if you like Frontiers in the first place, then yeah, like, you know, that's what I do personally. I mostly do that sometimes, or I just may start a new file or something like that if I feel like playing it. I don't really play Frontiers like that, you know. But when I do feel like it, yeah, I just kind of run around in the open zone, you know, if that makes sense. So, but this game, you know, ambitious for modern Sonic Team standards. They couldn't get everything where they wanted to be, where they wanted to be. I'm pretty sure they did deliver the Final Horizon, which could offer some insight into where they want to go with the future of open zone Sonic in terms of like less automation, a little bit more difficulty, a lot of that stuff that Frontiers kind of suffered from, in my opinion. But I'm gonna leave that there. That's just a, you know, quick thoughts on that, you know. But this is what my B tier is looking like right now, you know. What else will I put under Frontiers and B tier? And I'm thinking on this list here, on this list, what else would I put in B tier? What else? In terms of 3D Sonic, again, I'm not counting the 2D games, so just to clarify that again, you know, this there'll be like a separate video or something if I do that or something in the future. B tier. Everything else, damn, I know this list is kind of like, I mean, I don't know, maybe everyone, I don't know, I mean, this is, again, this is how I feel personally, so I don't know, man, you know. Yeah, I don't think there's nothing else I would put in B tier, you know what I mean? In my opinion, I think that's it, you know. I might as well just go to, I'm gonna skip to Never Play, because I actually got a little bit to say about that. So I never actually like played Secret Rings, Black Knight, what else? I haven't played Rush Adventure yet either, but again, it's a 2D Sonic game, so I'm not gonna count that in this video. But yeah, I haven't played these two right here. But I will say this, from what I have seen of both of these games, I think Secret Rings looks way better, just in terms of like just a game, right? A Sonic game, right? 3D Sonic. I think Secret Rings looks better from just a level design standpoint. I think Black Knight looks cool, but it kind of like the levels kind of looked too like. From what I've seen of it, again, I could be wrong on this because I will have to play them myself, I guess, eventually if I can. The only thing that's been holding me back from touching these games on emulation or just even real hardware is the motion controls, you know. And I'm not a fan of the Wii's. Well, I'm not a fan of motion control in general. Okay, I'm not personally a fan of it. But again, that's for a whole nother video, okay? But I'm not a fan of motion controls. That's the main reason that I haven't played these games, to make a long story short, you know. But from what I saw of gameplays, Black Knight levels kind of looked flat a little bit, like it wasn't really much going on there. But like Secret Rings level design is looked way more engaging with the platforming and all that type of stuff, even though it's motion control. But that's just my opinion, you know. And from what I heard, I think the soundtrack of Secret Rings is way better too, you know. Just to clarify that, you know, as well. But yeah, I think I don't know, Secret Rings just looks way better than Black Knight to me personally. But again, I have to play them just to clarify. But maybe one day, hopefully I will be able to do that somehow. Hopefully, like, either these games I get a full like PC decompilation or recomp, or someone. I know someone is working on like a fan PC remake of Secret Rings and Black Knight or something. I'm not even sure. But either way, playing these games with regular controls, if that is possible. I know it's possible on Dolphin, for example, like if you know about emulation at this point, but still not like fully revamped regular controls, though. You're just mapping the motion controls to regular button layouts, if that makes sense. So it's still not the same when it comes to physics, you know what I mean? So when it comes to physics, so I'm just gonna have to leave these at level never play, because obviously I haven't played them, you know, like literally. But Secret Rings does look like the better game though, and from what I've seen extensively of both. I'm just gonna leave it at that for right now though. Okay, C tier. In terms of 3D Sonic stuff, Shadow 05. Now, when it comes to this game here, I like Shadow 05 a lot. The only thing that holds this game back, in my opinion, and I know that a lot of people may disagree with this, is a lot of people say that the greatest Sonic game ever created, which is Heroes, is Slippery. I disagree with that wholeheartedly. Like, Heroes is very tight in the controls, you know. You people just don't know how to play the game properly. You slip off, you fall off, and I did it too, right? I'm not, you know, exempt, right? But what I'm trying to say is, I think that Shadow 05 is the most slipperiest 3D Sonic game in the series, if that makes sense. You know, it's just, the movement is just slippery. You jump in the air, it goes to the side, the left side, the right side. I just don't like how slippery Shadow feels in Shadow 05. And that's the only thing I think that holds this game back for me. If it wasn't for that, I would place this game probably like in B tier, in my opinion, you know. But the slippery controls, like, the game has great aesthetics, it has great level design, it follows the same, like, it runs on the same engine as Heroes, you know what I mean? The renderware engine, like, you know, it has the same models from Heroes, you know. The level design is similar to Heroes in a way, you know. It's just the controls, like, they made the controls worse, and I think the controls was like tight and almost perfect as well in Heroes, as well as in Adventure 1 and 2, you know what I mean? When it comes to Adventure era level design, you know. I mean, Adventure era Sonic controls, if that makes sense, not level design. But Shadow 05 controls are just too slippery, and that hinders the good level design I think that is in the game, you know, for me personally, you know. Now, I know that there's some type of mod that exists or something like that on Dolphin where it revamps the game. I never tried that yet, but you know, that's cool and all. And I mean, I do use mods for Frontiers when I play them, and I know, yeah, it's not the original experience. And I was finna say that I want to stick to the original experience, but I don't know, man, because it's like, yeah, I love to stick to the original experience, but if mods make something better than what the developers made, you know, like, it kind of, it's good, but it feels artificial though. And that's like the conflicting thing I feel about mods, that like, because I think mods should just add on to what's already great in a game, not improve something that maybe people think should have been better in the game, you know, that the developers didn't quite do all the way or something. But again, that's a whole nother topic, man. I'm just rambling on. This video is probably already 20 minutes by now, man. Oh my goodness. C tier though. I'm gonna put it in C tier though, you know. Great game, great level design, just hindered by slippery, piss poor controls in my opinion. And no, Heroes is not slippery, it's very tight. You know, get that right. Yes, I tried the rhyme there, you know. So, C tier under Shadow 05, I will put Sonic Colors. Sonic Colors, yeah, I will put Sonic Colors. Sonic Colors, again, nowhere near my favorite 3D Sonic game, but it is. I have nostalgia for Colors, I will do say, because I played this game also when I was like 12, I think, at the time when I first played Colors. This had to be like around 2011 or 2012, I think, something like that. Again, you probably can guess my age just by me saying the age of things, right? When I played them or something. But yeah, I played this game when I was 12, you know, in 2012 or something like that. Had to be at least like in the 6th grade at the time or something like that. But yeah, the only thing that, you know, like, I don't like about Colors is, yes, it's an easy Sonic game, and yes, I tend to enjoy more difficult games in general, not just Sonic. But Sonic is best in my opinion when it's difficult, you know, and the mechanics are like, has a skill ceiling that you need to learn or whatever, you know, before you just like, you know, master the game or something like that when it comes to mechanics. So Colors is like, what's the word? It's a great, I mean, I won't say great, but it's a good Sonic game hindered by filler, you know. And what I mean by that is like the act, I would say the act 1s to act 3s in Colors is very good in my opinion. I don't think nothing is mostly wrong with them for the most part, right? You know, especially the act 1s and 2s, you know. But the act 3s to 6, they just felt like filler levels, 2D, blocky 2D at that. I don't like how Sonic feels in 2D and Colors at all, to be honest with you, you know, it doesn't feel horrible, but it just feels blocky, and they made those levels very short as well, like super short, where again, filler, you know. And they should have just kept Colors 2 to 3 acts minimum per world if they wanted to, like, keep the game, like, in terms of just have good quality towards the game, and it feels like fully realized or something like that. Colors just feels like very, very filler in those aspects when it comes to like the act 4s to the 6. It shouldn't have been 6 acts at all in Colors, in my opinion, at all, you know. This game also, I don't hate the Wisp. I know that they had to be a replacement for like all the other characters, because I know people didn't want them, like all the, I guess, older Sonic fans at that time, you know, like they didn't want all the other playable characters after what happened with 06 and all of that, you know, even though I disagree with that. But, you know, so I know why they make the Wisp, and I don't hate the Wisp at all, you know. I do think that they add the best aspects to Sonic Colors, in my opinion. They add the best aspects to this game. I'm gonna take some water really fast. Hold on. Alright, sorry about that. Tip some water. My mouth was getting too dry, me trying to talk. Anyway, if you're watching by this point of the video too, then I do thank you. You know what I mean? Most people probably tune out by now. I don't know if you like to hear me ramble on or not. I just wanted to switch it up, like I said. But as I was trying to say, yeah, like, it has filler content, but the Wisp adds the best aspects to Colors and makes the levels more engaging, which I didn't really. The funny part about it is when I was younger playing this game back then, I didn't use the Wisp like that, because I I didn't really feel the need to, right? And I didn't think they added much to the levels, but after I got a little older, I kind of realized that they do make the levels more engaging just by a medium amount, I must say, something like that. So yeah, it's kind of weird because I didn't use the wisp at all like that, or at least when I had, unless like when you had to or something in the game, you know what I mean? But now I think they add to the levels by a whole lot more than what I used to think, and that makes colors like better than what I originally thought it was. So but the main critiques that I have about colors is really like it's easy, and you could say that's a critique or not, but again, there was harder Sonic games to master the mechanics in if you cared about that type of stuff, which I do. So Colors was more on the easy side, so was Frontiers also, except for the Final Horizon, that is. But the base Frontiers was easy, that was also one of my critiques about the game, maybe except for the enemies like on the last island, but this is about Colors right now, whatever I'm talking about. Colors is on the easy side. So yeah, my main critique, to sum it up right fast, I'm trying to make this short. My main critiques about Colors is the filler Act 4 to 6, the blocky 2D in Colors that exist also in those filler acts as well, and even in some of the other acts, but I would say it's more so in the filler acts though. I would say the shortness of the filler acts as well, the shortness of those levels is also my critique. One of my critiques used to be the Wisp, because I didn't really care to use them like that, because I was just wondering like, why isn't Sonic, the other characters are in, like Sonic's friends, the other characters are in the game, why is it only Sonic and Tails and all of that type of stuff. And I know it was only Sonic and Tails and Unleashed too, but I mean, well, Amy was there as well, but you get my point, So yeah, the blocky 2D, the filler of those blocky 2D levels, the shortness of those blocky 2D filler levels, the easiness of Colors, I think those are my main critiques about Colors. Everything else, like the Act 1s, Act 3s, the music, again, I'm not a big fan of Roger Sonic voice like that. I think the best Roger Sonic, in my opinion, is either like, I don't know, maybe Sonic Generations, and I'm not even talking about cutscenes in that game. I'm talking about just his grunts in the level, like when Sonic does like "alright" or something in Generations. Like I like how Roger sounds there, but I think Generations is probably like the best Roger Sonic in my opinion of the 3D Sonic games. That's just my opinion though. Frontiers, I know they tried to go for a more realistic direction with Sonic and Roger, and I wasn't really too much of a fan of that either. But yeah, I think the best Roger Sonic was in Generations. Colors is obviously, oh yeah, another critique, yeah, the story. How could I forget it? You see, I don't like the story in Colors, so I don't even think about it like that. You see, I almost forgot about it, I wasn't even thinking about it yet, but Roger Sonic, the first, I think, Sonic game he voiced him in, or was it Free Riders? I'm not even sure, man. But either way, story cringe. I do not go back to Colors to watch the cutscene. I'm just letting you know now. If I cover this game, I am not playing this. I'm not watching the story. Just know that I'm levels only, levels strictly. And again, if you like Color story, that's okay. That is fine. Just me personally, I don't give a crap about it. Yeah, just too cringe in my opinion. Too cringe even for me. The Werehog. But anyway, that being said. Yeah, enough of that though. D. No, D. No. I'll put Lost World. No, never mind. Lost World. Yeah, I'm forgetting about Lost World. This video's already gonna be too long. God damn it. Lost World, I would put at the bottom of C tier, and that's just because like it tried to be different games at one time. I'm trying to make this really quick now, so I don't explain everything. I'm not gonna do it right now. But yeah, Lost World tried to be 3 different games at one time. Tried to be Mario, Classic Sonic, Modern Sonic, all into one game. I know why they did this, because they had an exclusive deal on Sega, or Sonic Team, or Sega had an exclusive deal with Nintendo, with the Wii U or something to release, I don't know how ever many Sonic games that was on the Wii U, and this was one of them. You know, so they tried to appeal to the Mario crowd, because like this game and Super Mario 3D World came out within the same year, 2013. You know, and I got these games around the same time they came out, actually, when I was 13 at the time back then. Because I remember vividly, I was in the 8th grade at the time. You know, and yeah, Lost World is just a mixed bag of not to knowing what it wants to be, trying to be too classic Sonic and Mario-ish at the same time, which I don't like, you know. But the high points of Lost World to me are some of the levels in the game, like the sea bottom segway levels and some other stages, the spin dash, the abusable spin dash that you can do in the game. You know, again, nothing like Adventure 1, nothing close to that GOAT, but still something that you could like abuse when it comes to just like trying to speed run a level or something. In the parkour, now the parkour, I will say, is a good part about Lost World. I'm not that good at the parkour. I never learned how to get good at the parkour. I may actually need to do that, you know what I mean? But the parkour, spin dash are like the best parts of Sonic's mechanics in Lost World, which, you know, I don't hate at all, you know, especially the parkour, you know, because it has a learning curve to it, which means it's kind of like a skill ceiling there, which means more engaging level design, more engaging runs, more engaging gameplay, more engaging Sonic, you know. So yeah, but to sum it up, Lost World trying to be 3 different things at one time, and I just don't like it. Like the Deadly Six, nothing against the Deadly Six at all if you like them. They just reminds me of the Koopalings from New Super Mario Brothers, right? I'm just being honest, it just reminds me of them. So I'm leaving it at that. Lost World at the end of C. D. I wasn't trying to rush this video, but I'm not trying to keep on making this too long. So D, you already know, the worst 3D Sonic game in the series. This game here, the worst 3D Sonic game devised of all time. The worst 3D Sonic game ever created. The worst 3D Sonic game ever thought of by Sonic Team. This game right here. This game had a lot of potential when it comes to not even just the gameplay, but like I actually liked how they added all the characters back in Forces, like, and they was interacting with each other. Like I liked that they added Silver again, Espio, you know, whatchamacallit, Vector, you know. I like that they added most of the characters in Forces. The story fell flat though. Like it could have been way better though, with the whole Resistance storyline thing, even with Infinite, which I think is way better as a villain than, you know, Sage is. I think they could have did a lot more with Infinite. Infinite could have been something that was special, but they just flopped them so badly, in my opinion, in that game. But Forces are a case of missed potential, in my opinion. Miss potential. And I'm not even just talking about the gameplay, because I can go on and on about how basic the boost gameplay is in Forces and all of that. I'm not gonna do that. You heard that from a million other Sonic tubers or whatever. I'm talking about the potential that this game had overall, just in terms of the story, the style, the tone of this game, everything. It could have been way more when it comes to that whole Resistance storyline that they was going for. It could have been way more fire, and they just didn't care, like, with this game. Like they didn't even try to go hard with it. And Forces could have been, like, it could have been as easy as Colors, but still like not as bad as it came out to be when it comes to Forces, you know what I mean? Like it could have, like, it's just such missed potential, man, with this game. Like I look at Forces, like, I know a lot of people just look at Forces and be like, oh, just a bad Sonic game. No, I look at Forces, me personally, as a missed potential Sonic game. And I get that's how people look at 06 as well, but 06 had a better foundation, at least to me, than the Forces. And I played Forces before 06, you know. And I played 06 after Forces, you know, and I still think 06 is way better because it has that feel to it that's not basic, that's, you know, had style, that had feel to it, that had that original ambition that Yuji Naka had when he was still running Sonic Team, obviously, during the time of 06, you know what I mean? For, you know, the whole situation with him just getting out of there, whatever the case happened, you know. Again, not gonna talk about that right now, you know, it's for intricate stuff, you know. But Forces just missed potential, man. But I didn't hate the concept of this game by no means at all, and I think that the White Metropolis, or whatever you call that stage in Forza, I think that's one of the best stages in this game. With how basic and short it is, I just love that. It just reminds me of a white Grand Metropolis, man. I don't know why, but that being said, though, I'm gonna end it off. This is my tier list, though. I think of 3 Sonic. You know, I seen some crazy lists, and you know what I mean. All power to you people that may like some of these games and put them higher than me. But it's just my list. You know, how I feel personally. That being said, though, I'm gonna try to continue more of Sonic Unleashed when I can and get some of those videos up. I'm gonna end it out because this video's probably been way too long already. If you do enjoy the content, you can feel free to like, comment, or subscribe. You don't really have to do that, so I don't really ask it like that because I just really, you know, it doesn't really matter to me. Like, I'm just trying to deliver the Sonic content that I'm able to, and just, you know, because I even watch my own video, you know what I mean? So, and not upload it. Like, I keep some of the files again on my PC, like I say. So, like, I enjoy just looking at my own gameplay as well, or something like that. Even though, like, I can do that anywhere with some other YouTuber, right, that plays Sonic. You know what I mean? So, I don't know what I'm saying no more, man. With that being said, my name is Ray. Till next time, you never give up, you never give in. This is my tier list. I'm quick, trying to make it short. Till next video, though. Take care. If you disagree with any of this, it's fine. You know what I mean? But if you do, then you know. If you don't, then you never give up, you never give in. You know, maybe one day you'll see the vision. But anyway, let me get out of here. Till next time, peace.